Hello again, YouTube. We've got a bit of a dodgy mic here, but all is good. As long as you can hear us, it's all good. We're going to be going through today our top tips on how to help you lose your next 10 to 15 pounds of body fat. So I'll kick everybody off and I'll kick this one off. One of my biggest tips is because every single frigging person today in this day and age are busy, busy, I'd say 8 out of 10 people probably have to meal prep. Yeah. And I'd say the being organized with your nutrition and being organized with meal prepping, if you have to, I'm not saying you have to. Like, for example, I work from home on a daily basis so I can make all my meals virtually every day. I don't need to meal prep unless I go out at the weekend. However, I coach a lot of different clients and we do it Transcend. A lot of them are parents. They have very busy jobs, the CEOs, etc. So a lot of them need to meal prep, for certain parts of the week, and they need to be organized. And if you're not organized with your nutrition and your training, then they're gonna frigging fall down. You think about, say you're at work. Are you organized with your work? You're probably saying, yeah, I'm very organized at work and I get shit done. Well, you need to organize yourself. Yeah. And to organize yourself, think about the areas that are making you fall down. 9 times out of 10, it's that people don't meal prep for the weekend, if I'm completely honest. And then they fuck up at the weekend. So my top tip is be as organized at the weekend as you are in the week. Because if you're not, you will fall off. Yeah. Or you'll be more inclined to fall off at the weekend because you've not got as much structure. So that's my top tip. What's yours?
Give it here. My top tip is to have a goal set, but figure out why you've set that goal. So obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably want to lose body fat. You want to get in shape. So why do you want to do that? It's all well and good saying I want to lose 10 to 15 pounds of body weight or body fat specifically and keep your lean muscle tissue. But unless there's a meaning behind why you want to do it, you won't end up doing the things that you have to do in order to achieve that goal. So, for example, if you want to get lean, you might want to build some more self-respect. You might want to be better internally with your health. You want some health markers to be in better position, whether that's your blood pressure or preventing any risk of disease as you get older. You might want to set a standard and a lifestyle for your children or for those around you. So once you figure out why you actually want to get in shape, when a consequence or an inconvenience crops up in your life for you to potentially go off track, it's really easier for you to regulate your emotions and go, right, okay, I'm not going to make this irrational decision because I know that I've set this goal for me to achieve, and these are the reasons why. A lot of people fall off track because they've not got a reason why they're doing what they're doing. It's kind of like having a Google Maps with no set destination. You just go in wherever you want to. There's no end goal and no directions towards the goal that you're trying to achieve. So I'd say set a goal, figure out why you want to achieve it, write those things down, and always revert back to them when you feel like you're steering away from getting on track. It's like Nathan mentioned before about being organized with yourself just as much as work. If your work told you to get to work at 8 o'clock in the morning an hour earlier, and if you didn't and you was late, you'd get sacked, you'd do it. But if you told yourself you was going to get to the gym for 7 a.m. because you wanted to get in shape, there's probably 90% of people who are watching who wouldn't get to the gym as much as they would do get to work earlier. And that's because your reason why you want to achieve the goal isn't as big as your reason why to want to go to work. And you've just got to have that same level of discipline for your own personal goals just as much as everything else. So yeah, my biggest reason would be set a goal, figure your reasons why out.
I think my top tip is actually enjoying the foods that you eat when you are on your meal plan. We've talked a lot about off-plan meals, etc., but ultimately the foods that you're eating are really, tasty, nutritious foods. Yeah, there's a little bit of trial and error when you maybe first starting this to cook it, maybe get the seasonings that you exactly like. But genuinely now, I have chicken, potatoes, veg, and mix the veg up, might mix my seasoning up, I might change it slightly, but I genuinely look forward to eating that meal. And why should you not look forward to eating a really healthy and nutritious meal that is really tasty? Nathan mentioned before that, you might be craving an off-plan meal, and actually when you have it, you think, oh, it wasn't as good as what I was hoping it to be. So yeah, there's got to be restriction when you are dieting and to lose, 10, 15 pounds of body fat, like Dylan mentioned. But you can still have foods that are, or meals that are really enjoyable, or they should be really enjoyable within that. Obviously, depending on the calories you have, might limit your flexibility. But ultimately, would you go to a restaurant and order a fajita and pay a good bit of money for it? Yeah, of course you would. So why can't you make a homemade fajita, obviously with maybe less oils and restrict the calories? But that's an unbelievable meal to look forward to. Like oats, chocolate protein, and a little bit of peanut butter. It's probably 400, 500 calories depending on the grams you put into it. But again, that's a really nice meal. So actually, rather than going into a dieting phase, hating it, embrace it, enjoy it, and actually enjoy the meals that you're having, because ultimately, always have gratitude for eating good food, because there's a lot of people, unfortunately, in the world who don't look forward to having a really healthy, nutritious meal to have.
One point that I'll add is that when you're dieting, right, you've got to accept this is a good tip, right? And this is about your mindset towards it. You've got to accept that you're going to be hungry because it's part of the process. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be resistance. You're going to have to restrict, but you've just got to accept it and do it fucking anyway. Yeah. If you really want to lose body fat and get in better shape, there's got to be sacrifice. It's going to be hard. You're going to be tired. You're going to be stressed. You're going to have to learn to regulate your emotions, and you've got to accept that that's part of the process. What a lot of people do, as Richard just said, is they go into a dieting phase hating it. And it's like, well, if you go into it and you start it with that negative mindset, it's only going to get fucking worse. Yeah. Where if you start with a mindset where you're just like, do you know what? I'm leaning into the challenge of dieting. I understand that it's going to be hard. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to be stressed. There's going to be points where I probably want to stop. Yeah. But I lean into the challenge and I see it as a challenge as opposed to resistance. Then you're going to probably succeed a heck of a lot faster and also enjoy the journey along the way, or as much as possible. Because don't get me wrong, like I've done numerous photo shoot and competition preps. Not every minute of it is enjoyable, yeah, and I'm not gonna say it is because it frigging isn't, right? But if you're trying to lose 20 to 30 pounds of body fat or 10 to 15, whatever it may be, you're gonna still get elements of not enjoying it, yeah, but accepting that rather than going in with a mindset of like, oh well, it's meant to be enjoying this and I'm not enjoying it, so I'm stopping doing it. Well, if you stop doing it, then you're never going to get there, are you? Simple. So I think that's probably the one, my next biggest tip. I mean, does anyone have any more?
Yeah, well, kind of what you just said there. I don't know if you've just touched on that a little bit, but similar sort of thing is like if you're doing a diet, it's going to be hard, and if you don't, you're not going to make any progress anyway, sort of thing. Yeah, you're just going to end up in the same position of like if you're not saying that most people will actually be overweight, but if you're not happy with the way that you look, you're going to continue to not be happy with the way that you look. But then when you diet, you're not going to be happy with potentially the hunger that you're going to experience, but then you're going to be happy with the way that you look. So either way, there's going to be a difficulty. Just pick which difficulty you want to take, and then you'll be able to get a positive outcome off the back of it. Again, I think I mentioned this on another video, is look for that delayed gratification, not instant gratification, because if you can go through a little bit of suffering now to feel better in the future, it's a lot better than constantly suffering now with the things that you're not enjoying for those short-term buzzes of eating off-plan food or eating shit and having better quality habits with your lifestyle.
Yeah, as Dylan said, it's just about choosing your hard. Yeah, you've got to choose that every path in life is hard, no matter what you do. Yeah, like even when you're a bit comfortable, it gets hard because when you become comfortable for too long, that then becomes uncomfortable in the long run. Yeah, because if you sit on couch comfortable for too long and you end up gaining loads of weight, then it becomes uncomfortable. So you've got to choose the path that you take, and it's always going to be hard. Have we got any more points, Rich? No? Any more? No? Cool. Well, that wraps up this one. Just comment below any questions that you have about anything that we said. You can find us all on Instagram at Nathan_Transcend, Dylan_Transcend, and Richard_Transcend. And if you have an interest in coaching, then drop either one of us a DM and we'd be happy to help.